Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So as I'm sure you all know, Keandre Miller, the stud defensive prospect for the New York Rangers, has finally signed his entry-level contract with the NHL team, and there is so much to like and so much to truly love about this young defenseman. Now, Keandre, as you may know as well, hasn't been a defenseman his whole life as a hockey player. Just around 3 or so years ago, he transitioned from originally being a forward to a defenseman pretty much right around when he started playing with the USHL, U17, and so on. And since then, he has transitioned fantastically. And while his game is still raw in certain aspects, his development has been unprecedented, and truly there's so much to love and a lot that needs to be recognized when it comes to this young player. So let's get right into it. Keandre Miller is a 20-year-old defenseman, obviously left-hander, and he was drafted by the New York Rangers in 2018 in the first round with their 22nd pick. That wasn't originally theirs. They actually traded up for Keandre because obviously they saw him and were worried that he would have been picked by someone else if they hadn't traded up in the first round. And that was one of numerous first round picks the Rangers had that year, also drafting Vitaly Kravtsov that year as well, and Niels Lundqvist, all in that same first round. And they all look like they are going to be crucial pieces to the New York Rangers and their future. Now, getting into it, Keandre is listed at currently 6'3", but it's kind of hard to see. If you actually look at him in person, or if you just see, footage, highlights of him, he does look bigger than that, and that's what I've been reading a lot about too, that it seems like he just keeps getting bigger and bigger, but he is listed as 6'3", and he weighs around 200 pounds, so a big-bodied left-hand defenseman who has so much upside, and like I said, he is raw in certain facets of his game, obviously still being fairly new to a defenseman. You have plenty of guys who, when they're drafted and their entire career, they played the same position all throughout, and this is clearly not the case with him. But getting into his statistics, he's played with the USHL for a very long time, and not anymore, obviously, now we'll get to that, but starting off his stats I have in 2016, 2017 with the USHL under 17 national team. In 34 games played, he had 0 goals and 7 assists for 7 points, and I believe that was his first year as a defenseman for the USHL, and he was a minus 29, so obviously not great, but things have definitely changed since then. The following season, an under-18 national team for the USHL in 2017-2018. In 22 games played, Keandre Miller had 4 goals, 12 assists for 16 points, and had a plus-minus of plus 13, so things were quickly progressing from how his first year with them in the under 17 went. And then that same year in the under 18 team in exhibition games this time though, in 36 games played, he had 5 goals, 8 assists for 13 points and had a plus minus of plus 10. So those look great as well, even though they were exhibition. And then as he left the USHL after he was drafted by the New York Rangers, he committed to going to the University of Wisconsin, which he has played two years with and is now done with them after his sophomore season. So his freshman year went fantastic. He was one of the best rookies in all of college hockey at the time. And in the 18-19 season for the University of Wisconsin, Keandre in 26 games played had 5 goals, 17 assists for 22 points, and a plus-minus of plus 7. So Keandre was really becoming a head-turner at that point and getting noticed not just by hockey fans overall, but especially the Rangers and their scouting, and truly loving the development that they were seeing in the guy that they traded up for. And then this past season, in the 2019-2020 season, had a lot of hype going into it for the University of Wisconsin, because you had guys not just like Miller, but they also had Cole Caulfield and Alex Turcotte, who I talked about them in my previous video regarding prospect pools. So after you watch this, go check that out if you haven't. But those two look like they're going to be complete studs in the NHL. And this Wisconsin team was so stacked going into this season. And things really didn't go as planned, which was somewhat surprising and could very well go down as one of the most mysterious teams for having such high level talent that just didn't meet the expectations in that college season. So even though Keandre didn't have as good of a year as he had his freshman year, he still played very solid and was looking good in all facets of his game. In the 2019-2020 season for the Wisconsin, the Badgers, in 36 games played, he had 7 goals, 11 assists for 18 points and a plus minus of -7. So obviously the plus minus isn't as good there, but as a team overall, they didn't meet expectations nearly as good as they were hoped for. They were expected to be the favorites in all facets of college hockey, and that just really didn't happen. So it's an unfortunate thing, but all those players look like they have already committed or are going to commit to their NHL clubs. I believe the only team that is the player of those three that has yet to make a decision on if he's signing his ELC is Cole Caulfield. I don't know if things have changed since then, but I know Alex Turcotte has obviously signed his entry-level contract as well, along with Keandre Miller. And then we also look at the tournaments that Keandre has been a part of. For U20, for the World Junior Championships, for playing for Team USA, obviously, in the 2019 tournament, in 6 games played, Keandre just had 1 assist and had a +1, so not bad at all. And then this past year's in the 2020 World Championships, things really didn't fare Keandre. He looked kind of rough out there, to say the least, and everyone will kind of talk about how he had just a really bad misplay and gave it up to Lafreniere to have a breakaway for Canada and ultimately scored. And, it was unfortunate at the time when I noticed I was watching that game, seeing Miller do that. But accidents happen, mistakes are going to happen as you're a young developing player. I don't really think that there's much to look into it besides that. So Keandre, in 5 games played, had 2 assists and plus minus a +1. So not terrible either. Didn't meet the expectations that were expected of him in that tournament necessarily, but I wouldn't say that he was a failure by any means. And there were other Rangers that really stood out, especially Zach Jones, who's another defensive prospect for the New York Rangers, who I'm sure I will make a video or talk more about at another time. But there's a lot to like about him too, and just the Rangers' future overall. But Miller, fantastic two-way defenseman. Like I said, his game is raw, but is fastly progressing and is looking so much better than what was expected of him, and truly has the potential to be the next big thing in New York when it comes to left-handed defensemen. He's been compared to the likes of Ryan McDonough, among other big-name defensemen that have played for the Rangers in the past couple decades, and rightfully so. Miller's ceiling is unbelievably high, and there's just so much to like when it comes to him. He's been great on the power play, and while this past season with Wisconsin, he really wasn't their power play quarterback, but he has the potential to be one. I know he was playing on their second power play most of the time when he would be out there, but he was huge when it came to penalty killing and was really helping out the freshmen on the penalty kill that were really having a rough time. He bailed them out night in and night out, so that was huge as well. A guy that you can rely on both ends of the ice that is crucial to a guy like Keandre, and he's extremely mobile. For his size at 6'3", 200, and will most likely be heavier as he gets older, he was really fast. He has long, lengthy strides, but with each stride comes great strength and great speed. And at a nightly basis, he's able to put up the mobility and really get in the way of the opposing team. He loves bringing up the rush as well. He loves being a part of the offensive play, being in the zone, making things happen. But he is defensively responsible, and I want to make that clear because while he has been a forward the majority of his career, since transitioning into a defenseman, he has been lights out. He back checks perfectly. He's a big man. He's sizable. He will throw in those big hits when needed. He's great at shutting down guys, some of the best players on the opposing team. And it looks like things are only going to get better for Keandre. And he has soft hands too. That's another thing. From all the highlights and everything that I've seen and read about him, he retrieves the puck well. He's not hard on his stick when he receives a pass, and when he passes too, he does it effortlessly. He can take it along the boards, across anything. He can really do all, and there's just so much to like when it comes to him, and especially setting guys up, whether it be on the power play or 5-on-5, he can make it happen, and he has a nasty shot as well when he uses it, whether it be a slapper or a wrister, whatever it may be. The strength is there. He's a big body defenseman that really is a forward out there, essentially. He has the potential to be a huge piece of the New York Rangers' future, and if you're not excited for him, then I don't know how, because I've been unbelievably excited since he was drafted, and I absolutely love the move the Rangers made by actually moving up to get him to make sure that there was no chance that he would be taken by another team in the 2018 draft. So overall, I love Keandre. I really do. I'm unbelievably excited for his future. And, like I said, he has a chance to be the power play quarterback for the Rangers. Not that they would need him to be, but the potential is there going in the future. PK is going to be huge because the Rangers have struggled with their left-handed defensemen, especially on the penalty kill, and now not having guys like Brady Shea anymore. He's going to fill a big hole once he finally makes the New York Rangers roster. Assuming by that time Mark Stahl is no longer on the team, among other guys. Keandre can just be a huge core piece of this Rangers defense and team going forward as they complete this rebuild and become a playoff contending team. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know what you think about this video. I really would appreciate it. Let me know if you're excited about Keandre and what you are expecting from him. And when do you think he will be playing for the New York Rangers? Do you think it'll be as soon as next season? Or do you think it'll still be a couple years away with him developing with Hartford, for example, in the AHL? So let me know. I really appreciate it. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment. Check out previous videos if you haven't. I had plenty on the New York Rangers, obviously, as they are my favorite team. And thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. So thank you once again, and I will be back in a day or two.